I think somewhere we've conflated news with entertainment, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think it's I don't know what you feel, but I don't know if you remember, like when we were young, we had the 1 hour of news every night, the news at 9, and the news in the morning 2 hours.
yeah,
But like there was a channel, a normal channel that has a news hour. But I think as soon as they started 24-hour news,
yeah,
um, you suddenly then have to fill 24 hours with news.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have multiple channels doing that, and then you have to stand out plus keep your 24 hours engaging. So you keep trying to get better at
Getting people's
keeping that
attention.
engagement.
Yeah, you're trying to basically, and
Yeah,
then you have to fucking get people's attention, but there's only limited amount of information. So everything becomes breaking news. Everything becomes the most top priority thing. And
yeah.
suddenly, like, it's an issue, man. I was also talk.
Did you see the video of? Sorry,
Go
go
for it,
ahead.
man. Which video?
Did you? It just popped up on social media the other day. I saw the video of Kangana Ranaut in the plane coming to Bombay. Did you see that?
No, like people. Oh, that thing with the people around her holding, like, barricading her from
No, no,
attacking
no,
shit.
no, not that. That's all cool. But some
That's
passenger on the plane uploaded a
huh.
video. I mean, that's comparatively cool. In the world we live in, that's comparatively cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're right. It's not
So
cool.
someone
It's
took a
not cool.
video. What happened?
No, but in the plane, I didn't, like when you see that picture of her at the airport, you like infer certain things, but I didn't think of what that plane journey was like. Because as soon as journalists found out that she was leaving where she was to come back to
Yeah,
Bombay, journalists were on the same flight with mics, with cameras, constantly asking her questions on a flight. Ridiculous. And then you can and this is some passenger who uploaded from her cell phone, which is online now, but you can literally hear the pilot at the end of it. He's like, please do not behave like children, this is not a school, we have announced that no cameras are allowed during the flight, like sit down. And then as soon as they land and the no seatbelt goes off, like the journalists go ballistic, and it's unreal. And you just like a constant bombardment with question on a commercial flight. um it was just on the topic of like journalism and trying to be first, trying to show more, um
that's
trying to be
disgusting, man.
that close to the news. Yeah, it was horrible to see that, like the whole issue aside, that was just like, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This whole situation. I don't even know, man. Like this whole situation with this person. Like I know we were talking about it, and what we said was, like, I don't know if it's someone trying. Like, there's two things that could happen, right? Either you're
yeah.
trying to come up with something with some information which doesn't really exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to get people to look at something because you're diverting their attention of other bigger, more important, worse issues, more dire issues, like,
Right,
the economy, COVID situation, things like that.
right,
So
right.
that's one thing where basically someone's pulling the strings and trying to get you to look at something else completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then there's also the possibility that people are actually fucking curious about things like this.
Right,
So
right.
which one is it, man? Like, are we
I don't know, man. What do you think? I genuinely don't know. I think it's a mix. Because all the people in my circle, or the people I interact with, though they would put up statuses saying that it's a smoke screen,
Yeah,
like saying that it's a diversion,
yeah,
they're still talking about the diversion in casual, like coffee table conversations. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, we talk about how it's a diversion, but if I'm sitting in the living room in Alibag or here with family or friends,
yeah.
we're talking about these diversions in detail because it's maybe at some level talkable. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you think it's this? Do you think it's that? So even those who are aware are, you know what I mean, right? They're still talking about it,
yeah. And I
the
guess it's
diversion.
easy for us to have an opinion about the situation. It's easy for you and me to have an opinion about the situation. But if I were to ask you, do you know what's happening with the economy? You'd be like, fuck, I don't know, man. Like, it just looks like it's really bad.
Right, right,
It's harder to find an
right.
expert to talk about the economy. It's way easier to get some fuck to talk about, like, some
An emotional
celebrities.
opinion about a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it doesn't even
yeah.
put,
Interesting point.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't even put you at risk with the government and all. So I was speaking to my friend Dave, who's a journalist, and he was saying that a lot of these systems and like a lot of these processes work on, like, nobody wants to be blackballed.
Right,
That's how,
right.
like, media self censorship happens. So, like, if there's
Right.
some topic which the government won't like, the
Right.
government doesn't censor them like
Right.
deliberately, but what they do is they kind of make it
Yeah.
harder for them to get an interview from someone in government. They'll
Right.
kind of
Right.
get them out of that circle. They'll be like, these guys are the troublemakers. I don't want to speak with them. It'll be harder for them to get
Right.
important interviews, people speaking with them. And
Right.
then later on, it like there's issues of licensing and things like that as well at a later level.
Right.
So what happens
Right.
is that these
Right.
guys then end up self-censoring themselves, saying, "Fuck it, I don't want to talk about these issues because I don't want to land in trouble with the higher ups." And
Right.
that's how they kind of just censor themselves over a period of time. So if people are
Yeah.
thinking like
Yeah.
there's somebody behind the strings, like kind of saying, telling these news networks what to say, it's not as direct
Right.
as that, but it can be almost as sinister, man.
Yeah. It's one of those strange things because I've seen it without taking like names of what and who, but I've seen it. Like it's not overtly stated by the government, the authorities, whatever, but people in a position of power, but a smaller position of power, say in the entertainment industry, want who wouldn't want to be in good books for the government of the country, right? So they would take a decision in that way. It's never said that you can and cannot do that, but it's kind of maybe gently passed off in a
Hmm.
conversation and then and done. And I've heard of that firsthand.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, it's weird, man. And also like, so who was saying it's easier to do a debate than it is to do like a deep dive of an issue? Because if I'm doing,
I think you were like 3 minutes ago.
was I? No, man. I think someone. I think it was Dave only who told me this. And he
Yeah,
definitely said that these debates are what these fucks do is they basically, because when you're getting a debate, you're getting a bunch of people in a room to talk to each other, right? You're getting these people to say,
right,
so you have no responsibility on what they say, right?
right,
They
right,
can claim whatever asinine bullshit, and it's on them and their organization. So
right,
you have like a bunch of these bhakts talking about like all kinds of shit about Muslims and things like that. You have like all these fundamentalist Muslims also talking all kinds of shit about everything else.
right,
And but the thing is that the moderator doesn't need to take responsibility for what's being spoken about on that platform. So this
right,
person's talking
right,
all kinds of bullshit, and
right,
everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this is fine," and the news agency may or may not be held responsible for that. But if
right,
a news agency puts up something as news, right, if they say something about Hindus or Muslims or about any kind of thing, and they do that, that puts their journalistic integrity on the line. So even
right,
in terms
right,
of risk, it's less risky to have a
right.
bunch of fucks debate over all
And I
kinds
thought
of
about that,
bullshit
yeah,
than actually publish the news
right.
themselves.
Because you lose account, you're not accountable. Plus, you sort of like a broker. You in either way.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
you profit either way. I didn't think of that, man. Very interesting structure.